Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I am joined by my friend Dom from Dom is Beast, and we are going to be ranking the Doctors from Doctor Who. So before we start, we're ranking the 14 official canon Doctors from the TV show. So William Hartnell through to Jodie Whittaker, including John Hurt, but not the Roof Doctor or the Timeless Child, or any three Hartnell Doctors, because I think we have different views on this, but they are not the Doctor.
Well, you know.
Okay, so we both ranked them individually, and we've combined the scores to give a joint list, and that's the order we're going to be talking about. So in 14th place, with a combined score of 3 points, we have Jodie Whittaker, who I put last on my list.
Yeah, I must put penultimate then.
Yeah. So what are your views on Whittaker?
I don't want to be rude to the actor. It is the writing, to be honest. I think the fact that Series 11 was a complete reboot. They didn't have any old writers. They didn't really have any sci-fi writers. No one could write her. I don't even think Chris Chibnall could write her. I've seen a few videos around YouTube about just the differences between her Doctor and every single other New Who Doctor, and yeah, I don't think she should have been the Doctor. I think she said in an interview that she'd never seen an episode of Doctor Who before. I just think it was two wrongs making an even wronger thing.
And it's again, it's just the writing was completely terrible, because Series 11, I found it enjoyable to watch, but as soon as I started thinking about it as Doctor Who, it was okay, just didn't feel like Doctor Who. Series 12 felt more like Doctor Who, but just the writing was terrible. I think Skyfall was the only episode I didn't mind.
Yeah, I mean, Series 11, you had a few episodes. Kablam, I remember liking. I haven't rewatched it yet because I'm too scared to in case I don't like it.
Again, but, I think I quite like Rosa from Series 11.
Yeah, Rosa is a good episode.
Rosa's by far her best episode.
Yeah, it's the ending. It's sad, but it's not what I want from Doctor Who in a way. I want sci-fi shenanigans. Much as it was great telly, although I do worry that it's turning a bit more into an ITV drama than a BBC sci-fi show. Yeah, it's just not Doctor Who, but it is good telly. And I mean, I know it's nothing to do with her, but just this whole era, I do have to credit the cinematography. Just, there you go. You're having that.
It's just this isn't her fault. Again, it's the writing, but it's I hate it when she says mate or fam.
Fam. Don't even get me started on fam. God.
And then it's also, it doesn't feel like she's earned the big speech moments like Peter Capaldi did and David Tennant did, and to an extent Matt Smith did. It doesn't feel like she has the right to make those speeches.
Well, she had it in The Woman Who Fell to Earth. She's like, I'm the Doctor, sorting out fair play across the universe. And
I'm the Doctor. I'm the Doctor. You should run. It's so what? With the other Doctors, it's yeah, okay, you look threatening somewhat.
Yeah, I do worry that it's part of. I'm not sure how well this is going to come across, but part of being female is that you are less commanding. I'm not sure if it's the higher voice.
It's not being female so much, but I think you do need the right person. If you got Bellatrix Lestrange from Harry Potter, or even Michelle Gomez.
Even the Roof Doctor, to be honest. I know you don't like it.
Do not call her the Roof Doctor.
Just the roof. Just the roof.
Yeah, and also another reason why I hate Jodie Whittaker's Doctor is just the little thing of rewriting the whole show's history.
I mean, sure. I'm not going to get started on that. That's another video.
Okay, so let's move on. So in 13th place, with a combined score of 6 points, we have Colin Baker, who I had at 10th on my list. I think you had last.
Yeah, I'm not very qualified to talk on Classic Who. I've only seen one Colin Baker episode, which was it Revelation of the Daleks?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
love that. I think it's one of his better stories, that one.
yeah. I, all I have to go off is that and his uh, reputation. That's the word. Which I know isn't too good. I do feel like, it's good that he liked the role. Like the actor has spoken about how much he loved playing Doctor, and it meant a lot to him, which cannot be said for Jodie, I'm afraid.
Yeah. It is. I think the main issue a lot of people have with Colin's Doctor is that he's known as the violent one or the unpleasant one. And it's like the main piece of evidence people come up with when you question that is, oh, he tried to strangle Perry. But my reaction to that is that was his first, he did that in his first story, so he's still experiencing regenerative trauma. David Tennant spent most of his first story asleep, but we don't think of David Tennant as the one who's always asleep.
Yeah,
There's also
yeah,
but also Colin's era is the darkest it has ever been in the show. So I feel like the Doctor, in a way, needs to act a bit darker than his
yeah,
other incarnations to get through. Like in the one you've seen, Revelation of the Daleks, is a field that to solve the famine problem, Davros was feeding people their dead relatives, but not telling them. So you've
yeah.
got the villain doing that. Sometimes the Doctor needs to act a bit darker.
I feel like I can't remember exactly the story, but wasn't the head guy at Doctor Who back then like adamant on trying to get the show shut down?
John Nathan Turner.
Yeah,
I don't think he was. I think no, the head of the BBC wanted it to, and John Nathan Turner was doing everything to try and keep it going. But sometimes that meant some stories didn't end the way they should, because like Trial of the Time Lord was supposed to have a very different ending. It was supposed to end with the Doctor and the Valeyard just continuing to fight with the ending unresolved. But John Nathan Turner said, if we use this ending, the BBC will use it as an excuse to end Doctor Who, because we don't know whether or not the Doctor's going to win, so we just leave it ambiguous. So that's why sometimes you have weaker endings to stories, because the original ending could have been used as an argument to end Doctor Who. And also, I mean, Colin Baker has definitely redeemed himself with Big Finish. I think he is one of the better Big Finish Doctors.
I'm a banana.
So, I said he redeemed himself on Big Finish. I think he's one of the better Big Finish Doctors.
Yeah,
But one thing I will say is the way his era ended was awful. Like, I think what happened was they were trying to think of ways to keep Doctor Who going, and they thought, okay, we can keep going, but we have to fire Colin Baker. And basically, they told Colin Baker, we can give you a 4-part story in which you regenerate at the end. And Colin Baker, he says he was wrong now, but at the time said, no, I either do a full season and I have regeneration at the end of the season, or you get nothing. And they couldn't give him another season. So they just didn't use him. And for the regeneration scene, they had Sylvester McCoy wearing a wig. And he's gone.
no, I'm just saying it's almost as realistic as this week. That's about what it was like. It was so bad.
Yeah.
That's my cricket jumper for reference.
Cricket jumper.
Fun times.
Okay, so I think that is all we have to say. Do you have anything else on Colin Baker?
No, apart from the fact that I'd planned getting that out for the last 5 minutes. I was like, oh, that's going to make a good joke because he's brought up the regeneration scene.
Okay.
Right.
So moving on.
12.
Number 12, with a combined score of 9, we have John Hurt, who I had at 13th on my list. So you must have had pretty high up.
Yeah.
You would have given... I don't remember where, probably 8, something like that. I'll put it up on the screen. Once I work it out, I'll put it up on the screen.
Yeah, I feel like because of the 50th
Yeah,
was
good
meant
deal.
to have Eccleston in as
Yeah.
this Doctor in the Time
Mm.
War, and obviously Eccleston, his season, I don't want to talk about him too much now, but that was all about his grief of the Time War. And I feel like John Hurt, especially as like this old, battered, war-torn, almost given up Doctor, I do like that aspect, especially given he's killing his planet. I feel
Mm.
like John Hurt, obviously he's a great actor. I do feel like he doesn't have much to do, but he does it well.
Yeah.
I'll tell my
It's
better.
like I don't think there's anything wrong with him. I don't think there's anything wrong with him, but he only had one main appearance, so I just
Yeah,
can't really put him ahead of other people who did it for longer because the competition is very good.
yeah. It's like Paul McGann, but Paul McGann's
Yeah.
like he had a film and a short, and although he's had Big Finish, I haven't done that.
Yeah, and I think I do have two slight problems, but it's not him, it's the writing. The first is that there's not really a reason for him regenerating. It's just he's standing in a TARDIS. Oh, I'm regenerating now.
Yeah, I think that was just because he was old. I think his line was wearing a bit thin,
Yeah,
which was is that did the first Doctor regenerate after because of being old, or did he just regenerate after being
yeah.
fit?
He. I'm pretty sure William Hartnell did regenerate because of old age. But it's
Yeah,
like, but he had been collapsing for 2 episodes, whereas John Hurt didn't collapse at all. He was just standing there with no signs, and then his hand started glowing. Like even he was surprised when he saw it was happening.
yeah,
And the other thing is that Matt Smith and the other doctors are ashamed of this doctor. They, in Name of the Doctor, they act like he may have been me, but he was not the Doctor. Whereas you see it, he's still the Doctor. He's ashamed of what he's doing. He's ashamed of what he'd become. If he was really not the Doctor, he'd be fighting and loving it. He would take pride in the fact he's going to destroy Gallifrey and the Daleks.
yeah. I can't argue against that. But I mean, obviously, you'd just be ashamed of yourself if you'd had to supposedly kill your whole planet. I
Yeah.
don't really know. I'd go ask Stephen Moffat when you see him, just
Hmm.
around the corner.
I mean, there's a lot of things we need to ask Stephen Moffat about.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. So at number 11, with a combined score of 11, we have Paul McGann, who I had at 9th on my list. And again, I'll put where you put him up on the screen once I work it out.
I must have him quite low then, which is a
Yeah.
surprise, because I thought I quite liked him.
I mean, I like
Yeah,
all of them, and some
yeah,
have to be towards the bottom.
yeah, I haven't seen a TV movie in a long time. I think I saw it
Mm.
when I was about 11.
Yeah.
But I think he was fine then because I've seen
Mm.
some clips on YouTube, and obviously Night of the Doctor is stellar.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and yeah, I feel like you know more about him because of Big Finish, but
Mm.
I think he's just a very good Doctor. I would
Yeah.
like to see more of him on the screen.
It's similar to Hurt. He hardly appeared on TV, so you can't really put him very high. But
Yeah.
it's like I do think the TV movie, it's not as bad as everyone says it is, but it still isn't that great. And Paul McGann is by far the best thing in the TV movie. And I think the difference between him and Hurt is basically, I think McGann is much better in Night of the Doctor than John Hurt is in Day. I mean, they're both very good, but I think McGann is better in his shorts than
Yeah.
Hurt is, in the main thing.
Yeah.
And also, I think he is the Big Finish Doctor, and he is very good on Big Finish.
Not much to say. It's just
Yeah.
it's just a testament to McGann and in some respects Hurt as well that
Mm.
after effectively one episode or one story, they've got a better reputation than Joe Rishko, who's had 2 series, and Colin Baker, who had many more.
He had 2 seasons and 1 story plus Big Finish.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on. So at number 10, with a combined score of 13 points, we have William Hartnell, who I had 5th on my list, so you must have had him very low.
Oh, it's my classic Who agenda coming in.
Yeah. So I think with William Hartnell, I will come on to other stuff later that ruined this later. But one thing I love about him is how much he grows during his time as a Doctor. Because in An Unearthly Child, he's like this really grumpy, rude old man, hates humans. And then by the end, he's grown so much. There's like, as long as you're polite to him, he's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
Yeah, I agree. He had a good series arc. It's just I suppose being raised on New Who, my idea of the Doctor is like fun, or just Doctor in general is like fun, fast-paced, energetic, all that jazz. And I guess Grumpy Old Man didn't fit the bill for me.
Yeah, and I think his Doctor has been ruined by 2 things. The first is Twice Upon a Time. I hate how he's written for in Twice Upon a Time. He was never sexist. He may have been unpleasant early in his run, but he was never sexist. And given they pulled him from the 10th planet, that is the night he is at the end of his arc. He is as nice as he has ever been at that stage of his life. You pull him from that, and he's just sexist all of a sudden. Like, I know he's from the 60s, but Doctor Who was never a sexist show.
Okay, my response to that is Stephen Moffat is a comedy writer. It was purely for comedic effect. I'm sure he wasn't too bothered about breaking the canon of someone's personality as much as Chris Chibnall was adamant to break the canon of the entire show.
Yeah, and that's my other thing, is if by introducing pre-Hartnell Doctors, by introducing Ruth and putting her forward as a pre-Hartnell Doctor, all of William Hartnell's growth as a character is just lost, because you know he's going to become a nice character because he's already been nice as this Ruth Doctor person. So it undoes his whole character growth.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose the Ruth doesn't have to be a pre-Hartnell Doctor. It could be future incarnation traveling back in time. We don't know yet. Chris Chibnall, please fix the. Well, I'm not even sure what the name of it is. Just fix it. Or just never mention it again. I don't care.
Just make Series 12 not canon, and I'll be happy. Okay, so moving on. Number 9, combined score of 14 points. We have Sylvester McCoy. I had at 7th.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've only seen I think maybe 2 episodes. I saw Remembrance of the Daleks, and I don't know the episode, but I don't know. He did a thing where he did the Michael Jackson little swaying on his legs in front of some stone gods, and there were maybe clowns.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like this Doctor does get a bad rep. He was obviously he nearly saved the show, I guess, but he was nice. He was fun. He was a fun Doctor. And yeah, I've heard he's had good stuff with Big Finish too.
Yeah.
And there was recently a trailer for Big Finish, and he was all in the old uniform playing his spoons. That was all really nice. I think he's one of the most passionate Doctors about playing, passionate actors about playing the Doctor.
Yeah. There's also like his first season. I mean, not going to deny it. His first season was terrible, but his next 2 seasons were a lot better. Remembrance of the Daleks is, I think, his best story. And then you have other great stories like Battlefield, The Survival. Just in his last 2 seasons, I can't think of a bad story. And also, he has one of my favourite lines from Doctor Who, which is in Remembrance of the Daleks. Early on, he asks Ace, "Are you carrying Nitro 9, which is the explosive she makes and carries?" She says no. Then later on, when they're battling Daleks, he says, "Ace, give me some of that Nitro 9 that you're not carrying."
Yeah, I feel like everything was on the up back then.
Yeah. But he, in many ways, he had one of the hardest jobs of trying to save the show.
Yeah.
Ultimately, he didn't succeed, but I really like his Doctor.
Yeah, and he, like I said, passionate for the job. He agreed to come back for the TV movie and help that all be canon. So it's just a solid Doctor. My voice is really high then. I'm sorry.
Okay, so at number 8, I think with a combined score of 14, which would make it a tie with Sylvester McCoy. Okay.
No, I see he was 13. Oh no, he's 14. Whatever.
14 with a combined score of 14. We have Christopher Eccleston, who was 11th on my list, and I think 4th on your list.
Okay. Yeah, I mentioned this before with John Hurt. It was short but sweet. I think Russell T Davies did an excellent job of showing the Doctor's. I mean, he had a bit of a story arc. He was grieving in Rose, like we didn't want anyone. And then by the end of Parting of the Ways, he's like coward or killer, and he chooses coward. I think that's really nice. I just think, he had excellent stories. I mean, I know there's a few lackluster ones, but I'm not sure there's a bad episode in series 1. And I feel like he played the Doctor very well.
Yeah, I think I look at an episode like Dalek, especially the scene in the cage, and I think if this guy had stuck around for a bit longer, he definitely has the potential to be my favourite Doctor out of the New Who ones. But because he only did one season, and when you look at the competition, I love all of them, apart from possibly Whittaker, I just can't put him any higher because he only did one season.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I love him, but
no.
So, okay. So, moving on. At number 7, then, with a combined score of 16, we have Patrick Troughton, who I had at 3rd on my list.
Yeah, I must have had him a bit lower. This, I mean, I've said I didn't like. Well, not didn't like, but just wasn't a fan of. That's the same thing. Hartnell's grumpy old man, Dr. Patrick Troughton. He was much more bubbly. He was much more. Don't want to keep using the same words. English teachers would hate me, but energetic and fun and all that jazz. And he played the recorder, so that was nice.
Yeah.
Like this bad boy that I was having to have hanging around. Let's not get started on that. He was again just a solid Doctor.
I think you can very clearly see his character in people like Tom Baker, Sylvester McCoy, Matt Smith. You can see his Doctor has influenced future ones, and it's like, I know this isn't his Doctor, but you have to appreciate that Patrick Troughton had the hardest job of anyone. He had to prove the Doctor Who. He had to prove the Doctor Who could work without William Hartnell, and he did it very well.
There's not much to say though. With all these middle ones, they're just great Doctors. They got. I mean, they might have nothing special, like overly special about them, but they had all solid stories, solid acting, etc.
Yeah, I just worked out we have another tie coming up. Tied with Patrick Troughton at number 6 with 16 is Peter Capaldi, who I had at 12th on my list.
Oh, I can't believe that.
You must have had very high.
Yeah. I didn't much like. I mean, he was just different. He was a different Doctor. Series 8 and 9. On the rewatch of Series 10, I have absolutely adored Peter Capaldi. I think Series 10 he is series 10 Capaldi is my favourite Doctor. Full stop. It's just series 8 and 9. I mean, series 8 was all about the Doctor literally figuring out who he was. Series 9, I think Moffat was trying to figure out who he was, because he went from series 8 being all trying to be dark. Series 9, he was punk hipster. Then series 10 was the perfect amalgamation of kind professor.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I love Peter Capaldi, but I sort of feel like it's similar to Jodie Whittaker. The writing just isn't that good throughout his run. Like, he has 2 standout stories, Heaven Sent and Under Lake Before the Flood, and then others just fall into middle ground. Most Doctors have loads of standout stories.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't. I rewatched series 9 and series 10 recently-ish, and I do feel like a lot of his episodes are underappreciated. Like, I mean, it might just be because I've grown accustomed to the lackluster Jodie era, but things like the Zygon Invasion, Zygon Inversion, I don't know, Knock Knock, even Smile with the emoji bots, every single one of his episodes, which people seem to forget, I guess, are all excellent episodes of Doctor Who, and I'd never noticed that before.
Well, I think one of the reasons I think Capaldi falls down is that for all 3 of the finales, like the first part is very good, especially Heaven Sent. I think Heaven Sent is one of the best episodes of New Who, but then they're all let down by the ending. Like More Than Enough in Time, the Doctor Fall really lets it down. Dark Water, Death in Heaven, massive step down. And then Heaven Sent, like I said, I think is one of the best episodes of New Who, and Hell Bent is one of the worst episodes of New Who.
Yeah. I haven't actually rewatched Hellbent in a while. I couldn't risk it, but I have to lightly disagree with you there. I don't notice a huge drop in quality between the first Sidemen one, Dark Water, Death in Heaven, and World Enough in Time, Doctor Falls. I think is an excellent 2-parter. I think obviously World Enough in Time is outstanding, but Doctor Falls is just as good. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah. Also, I feel like sometimes Moffat sacrificed the Doctor's smartness and cleverness for the sake of humour. Like in the Robin Hood one, there was Clara, Robin, and Doctor all in the cell, and the Doctor and Robin were arguing with each other, shouting at the guard, and then Clara was just like, "Do you realise there's not actually a guard out there?"
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like the Doctor should have realised and not spent the whole time arguing with Robin Hood.
Yeah, I don't want to keep busting out these amazing props, but they have my browser history. That was a great joke. Yeah, Peter Capaldi is a. Well, let's just not get involved in that.
Yeah. Also, it's not a criticism of him; it's more a criticism of his era. But I hate Clara, and I don't like Bill all that much.
Okay, I like Bill, so yeah.
I don't mind her, but it's just she's not nowhere near as good as many of the other New Who companions and classic Who companions.
I reckon Capaldi, Bill, and Nardole. In terms of like TARDIS teams, Tennant and Donna, Capaldi, Bill, and Nardole.
I mean, you haven't seen classic Who that much, so I'm not going to bring up.
Sorry.
I'm not going to bring up Troughton, Jamie, Ben, and Polly. Oh wait, I just did. Okay, so moving on. So number 5, with a combined score of 19, we have David Tennant, and I'm going to get lynched for saying this, but I put him at 8th on my list.
What was I put him 7th? I must have put 2nd or something.
Yeah, you were. I think he was 2nd for you. Top 2,
okay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I think he is the most overrated Doctor. I still love him, but he's very overrated. And I think the main reason is you watch his era, and you think, yeah, I love this guy. Then you watch The End of Time, And the ending of the end of time, when he just comes through as, I could do so much more. I was like, your friend is in that radiation thing, about to die. You are going to regenerate. Stop being so selfish and let him out. And then when you go back and watch his era, after you see that, he's just an arrogant prick the whole way through.
I my dad's brought this up. I don't know why I said that, but yeah, David Tennant's quite a fan of overacting, like that little hissy fit he had. I don't much like that, I suppose, but I mean, I do feel like although his individual stories were good, he did have bad overall choices, like the romanticness. That's not a word with Rose.
Yeah, I hate the
And
romance.
well, and also with Martha in a way. But then I think series 4, obviously best series of the show by far.
Yeah.
Him and John are absolutely hilarious.
Mm.
I really like Stolen at Journey's End. I know a few people don't like.
I love it. It's
that.
my favourite New Who story.
Oh yeah. And yeah, I think I liked all the specials. End of Time. It's just the ending, that little hissy fit that I don't like. I don't mind all his sadness about regeneration, because that's, I mean, I can understand where that's coming from.
I don't like it, but okay.
Similar to Cordy in Twice Upon a Time. It's just badly executed. But I do like how, I don't know, he was just fun, you know, and a bit of eye candy for the girls.
Okay. It's like, I hate the whole romance thing. I don't like the Doctor being romantically involved with anyone. And especially when it's a 1900-year-old in love with a 19-year-old. It's just
that's why Donna was good.
Yeah.
And the same reason, that's one of the reasons I like Bill, because she was similarly, like, it was just a teacher-student relationship. It was it's all nice.
Yeah. And also, I think David Tennant seemed too human most of the time. Like, he didn't really feel that this was an alien. He just felt he was a very clever human.
That depends on the story you watch, I reckon.
Yeah. And also, I think he had the massive advantage of being the Doctor in an amazing era of the show.
Yeah.
So next, we have Peter Davison, who I put at 4th on my list. And I don't know where you put him.
Well, it must have been 4th as well, because this is position number 4, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Again, my lack of Classic Who knowledge, I think I've only seen... Oh, I don't know. I've definitely seen Case of Adrasani, and I think I've seen another one of his episodes, so probably the Dalek one. But I think he had quite a difficult job, to be honest, following on from Tom Baker.
Yeah, Tom Baker, fan favourite, been the Doctor for 7 years.
I think he did an excellent job. I think he's often looked past in terms of the best Doctor things, but he was I can't fault him, to be honest.
Yeah, it's like, so I'm bringing it back to David Tennant, but The Case of Androzani, one of the best stories of the whole show. You have Peter Davison's Doctor holding back his generation, going to a place without oxygen, just so he can get the antidote for a disease that he and Perry got. He only gets enough for one. He's not even sure if he would regenerate, because he's been holding it back for so long. And he gives the antidote to Perry, someone he barely knows. He only met her in the last story. So he's going through all this to save someone he barely knows. Then you have David Tennant, who throws a hissy fit that if he saves Wolf's life, he'll regenerate. And he just says, no, I'm not going to leave you. I don't want to regenerate. I don't care that you're going to die. I don't want to regenerate. I'm going to leave you. I mean, he changes his mind. He does save them, but he does all that because he doesn't want to regenerate. Peter Davison isn't even sure that he will regenerate, and he still saves Perry without hesitation.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm going back to David Tennant again. I feel like when Russell T Davies had this whole Time Lord Victorious arc, I think that he had to follow through with it. I think he wrote himself into a bit of a corner with that. That's my only comment on that. But I do agree. Yeah. Peter Davison is just another great Doctor.
Yeah, so I think he's one of the most heroic Doctors there is. And I think probably one of the most underrated as well.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have a plot for that. I can't like go down and grab some celery.
I mean, you've got your cricket jumper.
Yeah,
cricket jumper. So next at 3, I think with a combined score of 21, we have Jon Pertwee, who I had at 2nd on my list. And I will pull up where he is on your list once I work it out.
Yeah, I think I might have put him quite low, to be honest. Because I feel like I like I feel like I like a lot of other Doctors more. But I know clearly he stuck out to me when we were doing our rankings.
So
he was like Patrick Troughton, to be honest. He was another fun Doctor. Always had like a lot of mad shenanigans with Bessie and all that. But
so I think he obviously had a great relationship with the Brigadier. I would say his era as a whole is the best of any Doctor. Like, I think Tom Baker's earlier seasons are better, but Tom's era trails off towards the end, whereas Jon Pertwee's was consistently strong throughout the whole era. And also, I love Roger Delgado's Master, and the relationship between Pertwee's Doctor and Delgado's Master, I think, is the best I have ever seen in any show.
Yeah, I like your comment about the era. I think it was nice that they tried something new with him being stuck on Earth, and that allowed them to develop these, like his relationship with the Brigadier, his companions, and also, like you said, the Master. I think that really benefited the show, and obviously he played the Doctor well.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's good between Pertwee and Delgado is that they're enemies, but they're very clearly two sides of the same coin, and they're pretty evenly matched.
Yeah,
and there is a level of respect there. Like, there's a moment both ways. Like in the Master's first story, when he thinks he's about to kill the Doctor, he says, "I will miss you, Doctor. I have so few worthy opponents."
Yeah.
So there's that side, and then in the Sea Devils, there's a moment when the Doctor goes to shake the Master's hand, like, "Oh, better not." But yeah, there's clearly an element of respect there between the two people.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. At number 2, with a combined score of a lot, for some reason I haven't written it down, I will put it up on the screen. We have Matt Smith, who I had at number 6.
Yeah, I think he
was
he
first.
was either my he was either my number 1 or number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I think somehow he managed to look the part as well. Like, he had all that thing about being an old man in a young man's body, but he still had old man eyes.
Yeah, it's like.
Yeah, I feel like he was the perfect. He carried on what was good from Tennant in terms of basically just the energy and the fun and the humor and all that. And it helped that his companions were good. The writing, especially series 5, was really good. And that's all I can say. It was just very good.
I think the decline of Doctor Who definitely started in his era, but Matt Smith always did an amazing job whatever he was given. I think he's the best New Who Doctor. I said with Tennant that sometimes he feels a bit too human. Matt Smith was very clearly an alien. Like, he even did stuff sort of not knowing what football was in the Lodger. And it's like, his character is very Troughton-esque. And also I just think how well Matt Smith did, because you had David Tennant, who was a fan favourite, and then you just had this unknown actor just coming into his role. And I think if just after the 11th hour, he was so good that everyone loved him basically just from his first story.
Yeah, completely agree.
And I think also he is the best Doctor. Just to quote, if you need a funny line, you just go to Matt Smith. Like one off the top of my head is, look, when he's working in a shop. So, you know, and they all get badges with their names on. It's like, look, they're giving me a badge with my name on in case I forget who I am. Very thoughtful, as that does sometimes happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's also a testament to Moffat as well. Like in his first few series, he was on top form with his writing.
Especially with season 5. Season 5 is one of the best seasons of New Who.
Yeah.
I think the humour is at its, in terms of Smith's Doctor's lines, I think the humour is at its best at Series 6, but the stories are at their best in Series 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. Number 1, with a combined score of even more points, we have Tom Baker, who I had at number 1, and I think you had at 4th or something.
Yeah, 4 for 4. Yeah, I'm gonna say it again. My classic Who agenda. I think Tom Baker's the Doctor I have seen the most of, and obviously I know that people love him. He's definitely regarded as the best classic Who Doctor. That's why he stayed on for 7 years. And yeah, he defined the Doctor in a way. I mean, the Doctor's been, I'd say, redefined in Modern Who by Tennant and Matt Smith. Probably more Matt Smith, but yeah, in Classic Who, he like set the standard for what the Doctor should be. He was, he was funny, he could have a joke, but also, he got in Genesis the Daleks. Yeah, like, do I have the right to kill this entire species? He's a multi-dimensional character.
I think again with Matt Smith, he's very Troughton-esque. He is probably the most childish of all the Doctors. He has loads of hilarious lines. Can be serious when needed again with Do I Have the Right? Then he has amazing stories. Like his first couple of seasons, pretty much every story is amazing. And then yes, the better stories are more rare later on, but you still have ones like City of Death, which is an amazing story. Tom Baker is hilarious. There's that scene. I don't think you've seen City of Death, but there's that scene where he gets taken to the Count's house for the first time because he tried to steal a bracelet, and he's just there like trying to convince them that he's a fool. So, same things like when the woman thought he must have been working for someone when he tried to steal her bracelet. It's like, who sent you? And he said, who sent me what? He just throughout the whole. Then, and he also has my favourite quote from Doctor Who of all time, which is when someone says, Doctor, you're just being childish. He replies, there's no point of being grown up if you can't be childish sometimes.
Yeah. No,
I got that on a t-shirt, but then it went through the wash so many times that the writing got worn away.
Banter. I suppose I have got a prop for this guy. My man, he's got a scarf. It's not a multicolored one, but it's a scarf.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because I'm worth it.
Okay,
Ladies,
so
yes, I'm single.
Dom, my channel is not a dating site. It is a mainly Thomas the Tank Engine YouTube channel. 89% of my viewers, according to my analytics, are male. So
you 11% know who to call.
Maybe not the best place. Okay, you can do it on your channel.
Yeah, stay face.
So back to more serious stuff. I forgot what I was going to say now.
You talk about Tom Baker.
Yeah, I know that. Oh yeah, basically, I think it helps. All of his companions are very good. You have Sarah Jane, one of the most well loved. Leela's very good. K9's my favourite. Both Romanas are very good. I know Adric gets a lot of hate, but I personally like him, and I think he is better with Tom Baker than with Peter Davison. And
Yeah.
then I wouldn't mention Litter and Tegan, but they barely appear with Tom Baker's Doctor, so there's not much point.
Does that wrap it up then?
Yeah, so I think that's it. So quick rundown. Our overall list goes something like Jodie Whittaker, Colin Baker, John Hurt, Paul McGann, William Hartnell, Sylvester McCoy, Patrick Charlton, Christopher Eccleston, Peter Capaldi, David Tennant, Peter Davison, John Pertwee, Matt Smith, Tom Baker. So that is it for today. Make sure you subscribe to Dom's channel, Dom is Beast, link in the description.
Thanks for having me.
That's great. You can follow me on Instagram by clicking on the link in the description. That is all for today. I will see you next week.
See ya.